Hi, I'm Wanda from Jimmy Branch Homestead, and today is part 2 of my seeding. So the first tray, and I already planted it, I didn't think about filming it until I got it planted, is American Persimmons. And we saved some seeds, and my husband also purchased some seeds because we are trying to get persimmons trees to grow in our woods and in our yard. So I planted a lot of seeds today, probably about 50. And I planted them about 3/4 to an inch deep. Once they really start growing in here, in the 4-inch, in the little 4-packs or 6-packs of seeds, then once they get root bound from that, I'll move them up to a 4-inch pot, then to an 8 or 10-inch pot, and to a 12-inch, and then eventually to a tub. So it will be quite some time before these actually get planted out in the yard or in the woods. So we'll have container gardening for quite some time if we can get them going. So next up, it's time for me to plant my kale. So I'm going to plant the Premier kale. I'm not sure how the lighting is for you. I turned off the upper light because it was so bright. But let me see how that looks. Is that a little better? Is it too bright? Hopefully it's not directly on you, so it's not too bright. Okay, so these are pretty tiny seeds. Not as tiny as some of them I planted last time. And they are only planted 1/4 to a 1/2 inch deep. So I'm going to plant just one row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 looks like. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of this type of kale to start. I'll plant more later, but I want to get these seeds started for the greenhouse. Okay. So I'm only planting one per hole, so I hope they come up. Okay. So that again is the Premier kale. And I'll water it good after I get everything planted. Okay, so next up is the scarlet kale. And it's a larger purple leaf kale. Hopefully you can see that. And it too gets planted 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep. The other seeds were black. These are more brown. Kind of backwards. I thought the darker ones would be darker seeds. That does it for the kale. Next up, I have spinach. So I'm going to do 4 4-packs of spinach. And it's planted in 1/2 inch deep. It's hard to tell where my... So that'll give me 16 spinach plants. God, these are bigger. Quite a bit bigger than the... Okay. And then next up is gourmet blend lettuce. and I'm going to plant more of it. So there's actually 3 and 2, 5 trays of 4, so 20 of the mixed blend lettuce. And they get planted at only a 1/4 inch deep. Look like little grass seeds. Okay. Love using a marker for this. Makes it so easy. It's really hard just getting only one seed in these. So I may have to do some thinning. Okay. And the way I do that then, this means everything to that side will be the gourmet lettuce. So these Sprouter trays that I'm using are called Super Sprouter trays, and they come as a kit. You get the bottom tray, the dome lid, and the light bar. And I really like these for starting my seeds. And then I use the other bars, like down here, once the plants are high enough that they don't need the dome anymore. So that's how I do that. So to water, uh-oh, do I have any water in here? Yeah, I do. Okay. I'm just going to spritz these. And I need them to get fairly damp so that they will sprout. But you don't want to pour water and just drown them. So I use the misting bottles to get everything wet once I've planted. And I'll need to water every single day, because if they dry out, they won't germinate. The first time I water them a little bit heavier because all this potting soil is so dry that it's going to dry it out. So I'm going to finish wetting this and then I'll be back with. Okay, so we're all planted up with the dome on and the light. This light here I will be turning off until the seedlings get up and get out of the super sprouters. And then I will turn this back on and have the domes off. So again, this is American Persimmons. And this is my kales, spinach, and lettuces. So I really want to get those going so I can start reaping the benefit. We are building our greenhouse and it is not quite done yet, but I want to have many things ready to go as soon as it is. Now, I want to give you an update on part 1. And here is my tomatoes. So this whole tray here is the Amish paste. I do have a couple that have 2 of in them still that I need to get a couple more cups and burn holes in the bottom, and then I will be transplanting that. And these over here are our jet stars, and we use these for fresh eating. So if you remember, I planted these with only half a cup of dirt in it, and then as the tomato plant grew, I continued to fill up the cup. So that will give it a nice base for root, a lot healthier root area. And yes, I know I planted them early, but that's because these are going to go in the greenhouse to get going. And then I may take some of them back out, or I may leave them in the greenhouse. I haven't decided yet. Now these are my bell peppers. They were much slower to start. but most of them have. I still have a couple that did not. And then up here is our celeries. I had a few sections that had a lot of celery seeds in it, and others none come up. So I did move those around instead of pulling them and throwing them away, so that I could get most of the cells planted with celery. And you know, it's very slow going to get going, but once it does, and again, these will go outside. They'll start out probably in the greenhouse, but they'll end up outside. In the back half of this tray is my onions. These are little bunching green onions. So I'll be planting those in a bucket. And these are all my cabbages, cauliflower, and broccoli. So they're ready to go out. So we need to get that greenhouse done. And then over here, I had planted rosemary. None of them came up. So peppermint, I had 3 come up, and they're just real tiny in there. And then oregano, I ended up with 6 little pots of it, because I had little bunches that was several in a pot. So I split those up today. And then all my basil came up. I had 6 pots of basil. So basil's really easy to grow. This is the first year for growing oregano for me. And peppermint. Once you get peppermint going though, it really spreads. So that's it for today's seed starting, and an update on part 1 seeds, so you can see how they're coming along. So if you're enjoying this type of video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share our videos on your social media. Thank you so much for watching Jimmy Branch Homestead.